All right. Hello, guys. So my name is Shivali Patel. If you don't know me, I'm a senior brand evangelist at Helium 10, as well as an Amazon seller myself. I've sold digital and physical products for many years now, and through Helium 10, I get to teach sellers of all levels. So whether you're just getting started, or maybe you've been established for a while, or you're in a brick and mortar business and you want to start selling on Amazon now, this is a great training for you to watch, because we're going to dive into how you can find a profitable product in 2026 to make sure that you are using all your resources, your time, your money efficiently, and giving yourself the maximum profits possible. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, get into some of these tools that we've got. If you don't have a Helium 10 account, I know that Alexandra's got a fantastic promotion for you guys. Make sure you check that out. And if you aren't quite ready to take that leap, at the very least, you can watch this training and get into the mentality of what you might want to look for as you're going in trying to find a really great product to sell. All right. So if you have a Helium 10 account, the next thing I'll say to you is open up your dash and follow along, because the best way to learn is through hands-on training. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen here. We've got the Helium 10 dash open, and it's not actually quite the dash, it's the black box tool. So you're gonna go into the products category at the top in the tab section and click black box. Now, if you're not seeing a screen that looks like this, you're gonna go to solution or classic view, because that's what I'm looking at, and find it right there. Alternatively, maybe you're looking at this and it's going to be underneath discover product opportunities, find products to sell. This is very objective based, guys. So meaning that anytime you are at some point in your Amazon selling journey and you say, oh, this is what I want to do, you can go in, find that solution, and it'll give you a tool associated to it, because Helium 10 is a full end-to-end software suite of tools. You've got stuff for product research, you've got stuff for keywords, how to figure out what's going to get you indexed and ranked for the proper search terms people are already looking for. Your goal is not to reinvent a brand new wheel. It's going to be to just find opportunities out there that already exist. People are already looking for those products, but there's low competition for you to go in and actually compete and generate some revenue with. All right, then we've also got things for marketing, analytics, business operations. But today, we're just going to take it one step at a time and focus on the black box tool. Now, what black box really does is it's going to help you find a product to sell by evaluating the products, the keywords, competitors, and more. All of this stuff, you can find the products we'll be seeing today on Amazon, but it would take you a whole lot more time to manually do the same thing. And I would know, because when I was getting started selling on Amazon in 2020, that's how I did my research, actually. And then I also used some competitor tools, and then I landed on Helium 10, and I became fully gung-ho about Helium 10 when I saw the full extent and how much time it can save you. So what's really cool is any sort of parameters that you have in mind. Like, for example, I'm looking for a product that's going to make me some money. I want to find something that is at least generating $4,000 in revenue per month. Okay. And then maybe you want something that is low in review count, because naturally, or if you've got somebody that's selling a whole lot, right? They've got a lot of reviews and you're coming on to the market with 0 reviews. Well, why do they have any incentive really to buy your product versus somebody who's got so many reviews already, right?
Impossible to compete. Yeah.
You said what?
Yeah, it's impossible to compete. So you need to choose the one you can compete with. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you can take a look at some of these different components you're finding on any sort of listing page. Let's say we're on Amazon and we actually sell a coffin shelf here at Helium 10. So let's go in. I know it's super morbid, but bear with me here. So if I'm taking a look at a listing like this is the general listing page we see when we're on Amazon. It says add to cart, buy now. You've got your title, your images, you've got your bullet points, you've got the A+ content. So this is like product description or a bunch more videos. You've got influencers. There's so many different pieces that go into a listing. And manually, if you were going in, you'd have to go through and try to go in some rabbit hole and say, oh, maybe this might be fine. And I still can't really tell if they're generating any money. So maybe I'm looking at the product information, trying to figure out, oh, well, okay, it's for a bestsellers rank. It's kind of selling something, but it's not really in the top 500. But if I'm in the top 500, maybe it's too competitive because of reviews. So you're left with a lot of uncertain decision capabilities, right? You've got this information, but it's not quite translating to what you want to see. You don't know how much revenue is being generated by that listing. You might be looking at the bullet points in the title. You think, okay, yeah, I could actually create something that reads nicer than this. But then is it going to be able to index or rank? How do I know which words? And that, my friends, is where a tool like Blackbox really comes in. It's because now you're getting rid of all that, oh, is this going to work? Is this not? What is the revenue? And instead, you can put in, yeah, I want to find this much revenue. I want to find this many reviews for this niche or this product. I want fulfillment, FBA, which is what we want, because we're going to send our inventory to the Amazon warehouses, and they're going to take care of picking, packing, storing, shipping for us, so we can focus on the things that really move the needle in our business. You've got category. Maybe you're a chef and you want to sell something that's in the kitchen and dining space. You'd be able to do that by selecting home and kitchen or kitchen and dining categories and go from there. But let's say Alexandra here, she is very knowledgeable about pets. She might want to sell something in the pets category, right? And that's where the amount of filters really plays to your advantage, just because you can go in and pick something that is actually going to be your strong suit. You can contribute your knowledge, your passions, and still see the parameters that will help you capitalize on the amount of search term demand there is. Okay, so let's talk now briefly through a demo and just the differences between these tabs you're seeing inside of Blackbox. So you've got products, keywords, ABA top search terms, competitors, niche, product targeting, and elite analytics. For the sake of time, let's just focus right now on products and keywords, because I think if I talk through everything, it might overwhelm you a bit. But all of our tools do have this, first of all, this eye icon. You can hover over to learn what it means. And then you can always click this training area, which pops open this little paneling on the right, and you can just read what you want to do. So how to find competitors for any Amazon product. Maybe I'm interested in a product. I want to see what my competitors look like. This is a video I'd watch. Usually all of them, as you can see, are no more than 5 minutes tops. Very rarely will I see something that's like 7 minutes right here, okay? But usually less than 10 minutes, I would say. And you can go in, watch it, apply what you're seeing, and that's going to help you kind of just keep it moving. Okay, so products tab is going to show me any sort of add to cart buy now page. This right here is an example of an output that we would receive. We would be able to see this product inside of the results if it hits all the criteria. For keywords, instead of getting a product URL, you are instead going to get this search term. So it says coffin shelf. Does that make sense? For products, you've got the product listing as an output. Whereas for keywords, you're going to actually be taking a look at what people are typing into the search bar. And because of that, I tend to actually prefer the keywords tab to start my short list of potential profitable product ideas, okay? Both of these tabs will have somewhat different filters. For example, in products, you have number of images. That wouldn't really be relevant if we're looking at a search term, because you've got so many products listed inside of a search term page. However, for a product listing page, you can say, actually, I want to see where are my listings that are generating 4,000 minimum in revenue, and they've got a max of 4 images, because Amazon actually provides more space than that for your graphics. And if you don't have a really well optimized listing, but you are generating the sales, and say you have got a growing base of reviews, but not quite in the thousands, tens of thousands, and it's in the category that you want, you can go in and end up finding all those products within seconds. And now, instead of trying to find what's going to hit your criteria on Amazon manually, you can go in instead and say, oh, okay, you've got this Valentine's Day multicolored tissue paper. This is a great place to point out that Valentine's Day is very seasonal. It's very specific. However, what you can do is you can save this and say, yeah, maybe I want to launch this next year. Or I want to use this idea to cater it for, let's say, Christmas or for Halloween, and come out with something that's multicolored tissue paper bulk for those different holiday seasons, right? Because it fits the criteria again. Instead of that, I usually opt to go into the keyword section, because this gives us a more holistic view of the category that you might want to embark into. And search volume is the number one place you can associate demand. So say that you've got 3,000 minimum search volume per month. That means 100 searches per day. And that's decent. It's not like incredible for the US market. But if I was in a UAE right now, is what I'm taking a look at, then it's actually a lot. Yeah, so whatever marketplace you plan to sell in, make sure you do all your research in that marketplace. Now, I'm in the US, so I'll want to go to US. I know Alexandra here. She lives in Latvia. And so maybe like one of us, you might be in a different marketplace, and that's where you want to sell. Make sure you find the associated marketplace. You do your research there because consumer behavior varies based off where you're selling. If we're interested in something in US, might not be the same thing that Alexandra's interested in, right? So just make sure that you've got the right marketplace selected. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is just put in that minimum 3,000 that we were talking about before. Again, guys, these are really random numbers. So I'm just running through a fast demo here. You'll want to take more time on this and also run different kinds of searches. So go in and maybe use word count and review ratings and category, and then change the category and use a different search volume, because that is how you find products you didn't know existed. I found some crazy things on here before, things that I wouldn't even think are worth spending money on sometimes, but it's a whole market and people love it. For example, there was these wooden Ziploc storage bag organizers. That was a massive thing. I found it when it was just starting to peak, and I thought, why would this take off more than it already has? And it was crazy because that was the beginning of that peak when I found it. And if I'd gone for it, I would have made a whole lot of money on it. Then you've got things like maybe a baby Doppler heart monitor that's had really great opportunity in the past. But these are things that I was looking at the time. I didn't know existed because I'm not a mom, or because I'm not necessarily looking for Ziploc organizers. However, the demand is there. So this is where I like to play around with the filters and come out with a short list of different ideas that might fare well. And then you can go in and validate further. So we've got 3,000 minimum search volume for now for this example. Monthly revenue, how much do you want that product, that niche to be making per month? Again, this is by every 30 days. Price point, if you have a certain budget in mind, something I would caution is don't use all of your budget. Use maybe a third or a fourth of that capital to actually invest into sourcing your product. And if you go really expensive, let's say you've got an electronics item that's selling for 4,000, well, you're probably putting up a lot more money up front, like a MacBook, right? That's going to cost a lot more to source. Or if you've got something, even let's say on a smaller scale, you've got, I don't know, something electronic. Okay, I'm going to let you think of the examples. If you've got something like that, you might end up spending more money on the electronics item or a larger item like a sofa. Whereas if you're going for the smaller items, maybe you've got like a little remote, or you've got a little light or a phone stand, that's going to be a lot less to source. And so this is the sort of thing that you can filter for up front. You can say, yeah, you know what? I'm willing to sell my product at retail value for $30 to 120 or something like that. I'm just going to actually leave it uncapped for max and see what we've got. We've got review rating, review count. We've talked about this in the last tab. Word count is really great because you want to find long tail keywords. Why? If I'm typing an office into Amazon, do we know what I'm really looking for, or am I browsing? Odds are I'm actually really browsing. I don't know what I want, but I'm thinking, yeah, I want to decorate. I don't really know what I want yet. Whereas if I go in and I type in white marble coffee coaster cup, or something that's just more than 3 words, all of a sudden I'm looking for something in particular, maybe. And so you are finding the warmer leads, the hotter audience that's going to be hopefully ready to buy faster than somebody you have to actually go in and convert. Then you've got categories. We talked about that. You can include or exclude keywords. Maybe I don't want something seasonal. I want to sell something year round, and I know that there's a holiday season coming up. You can exclude words there. You've got shipping size tier. Again, this can lend itself to whatever capital you've got in mind. You can figure out, do you want something smaller, larger, or just leave it open. You don't have to necessarily fill all these out. You've got bestsellers rank. This is what we were looking at before, trying to discern manually of like, oh my gosh, how much is this actually selling? It's up to you if you want to put a BSR in, right here, you've got 618,712. The higher up it is, the less they're selling, and the younger the number. So let's say 1 to 10. Think about number one bestseller. They're selling a lot. They're selling many, many units. And so you can go in and put that in. You've got how many, oh no, just went backwards. Let's see. Okay, thankfully we were able to get it back. So we've got monthly sales and units. How much volume are you moving? You've got variation count. Think about clothing. If you are going into a clothing item, you're gonna have to maybe get a small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL. That's gonna be more capital for you. So clothing, if you're just getting started, is one thing that would be, just consider whether you actually have the budget for getting all the sizing. Otherwise, you can say, yeah, I maybe don't want because that counts. That's why I brought up sizing. Sizing is a variation. If you've got Bluetooth headphones, maybe that's blue, pink, green. That's also different variations. You don't have to necessarily start with those. So this is an example where you could say, yeah, you know what, I'll leave it open because I don't have to source blue, green, pink headphones. I can just run with one if it's doing well. Or, yeah, actually I want to cap it out because I don't have the budget if I don't want to see anything that has variations right now. You've got number of sellers. This is relevant because sometimes there's people that are doing different methods outside of FBA and they're selling on Amazon. So you can say, yeah, I want to actually cap this out at 2 because I don't want to find anything that's not private label, something along those lines. Then you've got best sales period, fulfillment type. We've talked about this. You've got age month, competing number of products. So this is going to be when you're on Coffin Shelf, for example, right here. At the very, very top, you've got, it says, I'm on a product listing page, that's why. 365 results. So this is my number of competing products. Okay, so that is what this is looking at. I want to find, max of 2,000 or max of 1,000 or 400. Again, very dependent on which marketplace you're selling in. So if you see, oh my gosh, no results, then maybe you're just going too big because some of the other marketplaces have less consumer behavior. Like US, it's very prominent, it's number one, but in other marketplaces, it's still growing. So I would just bear that in mind. Now, the last couple here, you've got title density and broad reach potential. These are related to keywords because once you've got a great product, you also want to be able to rank at the top half of page 1 because that is where most people are having their eyeballs. That's where they buy. And title density will tell you how many products on page 1 have the keyword actually in the title. So if I was inside of the Coffin Shelf search results page and my title density is, let's say, 3, it's actually 17. So title density for Coffin Shelf is 17. Then that means that 17 products on this page have that phrase in phrase form inside of their title, and that helps them rank a whole lot easier. This is kind of heavy for title density. I wouldn't want to be the 18th number if I was considering this as a new product idea. But if you're considering something, let's say you cap it out at 3, you're saying, I don't want to see more than 3 products with that exact key phrase inside of the title. And so I can come on and be the 4th one and still rank on the top half, okay, without spending too much money on ads. Broad reach potential is how many other related keywords there are. So if I were to run broad match campaigns later on, what is the potential of reach for that phrase to have additional keywords that are sort of related? And these last 3 here, competitor revenue, reviews, and ratings, that's going to be for your top 10 organic placements. So if you've got, let's say this page right here, you're going to skip all the sponsored. So you skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right here, this would be the beginning of your top 10 organic placements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so of those 10, how many are making over a certain amount of revenue? Maybe I want to see, yeah, they're making more than 2,500 in revenue. 3 of those top 10 minimum. And then for reviews, maybe I want to see less than 150. I want to see that at least 2 of them have less than 150 reviews. So that's how this varies from this up here, guys. This is really similar. I can see how you might get confused. But the top ones is for top products on that page, the first page. The bottom 3, competitor revenue, reviews, and ratings down here is going to be for your top 10 placements. So this is very exclusive to Helium 10. You can't find it anywhere else. No other tool offers this. I highly recommend checking this out. You're going to go in and something else, by the way, guys, for ratings, if you end up finding a niche that has mostly below 4 stars, that's great opportunity. You can go in and find a great supplier that's going to be able to offer a 6-star experience so you can get the 5 stars. But you also have to ask yourself, well, why does everybody else have a 4? Maybe there's not a good supplier on the market, and that will affect you long term. So just make sure that you are crystal clear on why that rating looks the way it does if you tend to go for a market like that. All right, let's click search here. I didn't click any category. So for me, it said 200 plus keywords found. As you can see, Alexandra, do you want to give me some categories here?
Let's do beauty and personal care.
Okay, so beauty and personal care. When I see 200 plus, I actually like to refine down further. So as you can see right now, it says 91 phrases found. That does not mean there's only 91 opportunities left on Amazon. It just means based off all the parameters that we put in, it's showing me 91 that match that criteria. This is why I said you want to go in and actually end up doing a handful of different combinations and see what actually ends up working out. Okay, so we've got the Strobectin Neck Tightening Cream. I've never heard of this in my life. Let's check out what it is on Amazon. So if I go into Amazon, as you can see here, Strobectin looks like it's a brand. And we've got this neck cream. Now, we've got 714. Mostly these are in the thousands. But we said in the top 10, we wanted to see some that were below 150, and we are seeing that. However, because this is a brand name, let's just kind of put it on the back burner. Then we have Men's Shavers Electric Cordless Rechargeable. We can open it up. And as you can see, this is kind of what I would want you guys to do is you go in, use Blackbox to find a short list of product ideas, and then you're going to open it up by using those 3 dots and making sure that, you know what, can I actually stand out from an image perspective? What are people's titles looking like? How is the price range? So we've got some premium products, some lower end products. Where do we want to sell? What sort of different things have we got going on? Okay. So things like this, because somebody who wants to buy a Mercedes is different than somebody who wants to buy a Prius. It's a different market. And you can say, yeah, I want to section this out into different buckets. Does it make sense? Can I compete on images? Can I open up these listings and check it out? So that is just a basic rundown of how you can find different ideas. And from there, begin to validate those ideas. You can even click the Chrome extension. So as you might have noticed when I click my search bar, I see this amazing thing right here pop up that tells me the title density, competing products, search volume trends, search volume. That's because I have a Helium 10 Chrome extension installed. So you can go into helium10.com/extension and download it. And in doing so, it's going to give you all this on-browser information of, what's the 30-day revenue? What's the 30-day units sold? What's the average BSR? And check out all this amazing stuff that you otherwise wouldn't even know if you didn't have a tool like this installed. All right, and some of the last things I'll cover here, because I feel like I've done a pretty fast rundown on how to find product opportunities and the things you might want to be considering as you're going through. When it comes to actually validating whether that's a good place to go in, you're going to want to open up X-Ray. That's going to be in your Chrome extension once you've installed it, and check out how many different products have different dimensions. So I always like to take a look at the dimensions, because sometimes 1 inch can be the difference between $4 of profitability, $5. I've seen like changing from 8 inch to 9 inch can sometimes be a lot of revenue that you miss out on, because if you're selling 20 a day and you've got 4, it just adds up. Okay. Then you've got seller age, you've got the number of reviews, you've got how much they're paying in FBA fees. This can vary based off what price they're selling at, as well as their dimensions. You've got the title character count, just a lot of, I like to see this. This is in a month. Isn't that crazy? They're doing so much money in just a month. And 22 reviews. What in the world? Oh, it's their parent level revenue. That's why. Okay, so when you see parent level versus ASIN, so you might have something like this, where you've got a parent level and then you've got a bunch of variations. So combined, it adds up to the ASIN revenue. But this one doesn't. This one is doing 36,000, but their parent level is. So Okay, that's another thing, right? Remember, guys, if you want to make a lot of money, you don't have to necessarily have one product. You can say, yeah, I want to launch 2, 3 products, and they're doing decent revenue, and together they add up to a great parent level revenue per month. And of course, not all of this is profit. You'll want to open up the product listing page and click the Chrome extension again and take a look at the profitability calculator. Okay, so here, plug in the numbers. It actually pulls if you are on a listing page, and you'll be able to check out what their profit margins look like. Now, for me, instead of 6, maybe it's going to cost me $9. And how do I find that out? Great question. Actually, if you're in the previous page we were looking at and you have the little X-ray pulled up, at the very top it says find suppliers on Alibaba. Doesn't mean you have to source from Alibaba, but it'll show you kind of what it might cost you to actually source the product. And then you'll just plug it in right here. Now I said 9 or 10, maybe because I want premium packaging, maybe I want to add a bonus, something like that. And then you can play around with the dimensions based off what we were looking at before. I would add in duties and tariffs, maybe I say 10%, maybe for other costs, this does not count for ad costs, so maybe I want to add 15, or maybe I want to overestimate. I always love overestimating because then it builds in that wiggle room, right? So if something happens later on, you want to spend money for great images or for something else or for trademarking, then you have that already accounted for. So you've got some leeway. You can go in and say, yeah, this is actually going to be pretty good for ROI. I think this is good. Before, when I was looking at it, I think I can compete on the reviews. I can fit into this price range. I think that, there's demand for it because it's showing up. It's hitting all my criteria inside of Black Box. It is got great search volume. It's got low competition. It's generating decent revenue. It's, even when I overestimate my costs, I think it'll still be profitable. And that, my friends, is how you end up saying, I've got a short list of 15 profitable ideas that now you can go in and holistically analyze and figure out which one you actually want to run with. So I think overall, I've thrown a lot of information at you guys. I recommend that you rewatch this. If you've got to rewatch it, I recommend you pause and actually do the hands-on practice if you didn't while watching this for the first time. And also, I hope that, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you're subscribed to Alexandra's channel, because we try to meet back up. And the next time I'm back on, we're going to be talking about how to optimize your Amazon listings, as well as some keyword research stuff, I'm sure. So make sure you're subscribed. And with that, I will pass the baton back to you, Alexandra.
Yeah. Shivali, just I got a short but a very important question for you as a Helium representative. So if you look at to Amazon and to if I'm a startup person right now, what is the main difference? How I do step-by-step procedure to start and searching the product like nowadays and back, I don't know, in 2020, for example. So because I also have many persons and friends who are already very experienced Amazon people, but we know that now it's a big difference nowadays, like, competition, a lot of things. So your point of view, like what is the big difference and how we can do it better right now compared to
big difference from Amazon back
and
just from startups?
how we are looking for products and what is our advantage maybe and what we need to make and take to account, and maybe Helium can help us in some different way as well, maybe some new tool or some new thing or new ideas how to do it like now and before.
Yeah, what's really cool is, back in the day where things were kind of just starting to take off, you had social media also in its starting phases. And so people were kind of using maybe both the applications. You've got Amazon, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, but then they weren't really combining it. And then now what we're seeing is this influx of influencers as well as AI. Yeah. And so Helium 10, I think naturally with what I just presented, kind of shows you how you can speed the efficiency of your business and make sure that you're maximizing profits by venturing out into the right product category or like the niche basically, because you can input in the parameters. But then what else you can do, and I'm not going to jump like a full deep dive of what I just did into this other tool, but I will mention it because I think it's relevant to your question, is now Helium 10's also got these are all tools, by the way. You've got something like hot videos. So you're seeing an integration of how even during product research, you can actually go and talk about top of funnel, because most people have to be exposed to a brand maybe 7 to 12 times, actually. Statistics say this, not me. You have to be exposed 12 times to actually get the purchase. And on Amazon, sometimes if you got the review or you got a really attractive incentive or a bonus or the price is really sexy compared to your competitors, you might make the sale right away. But other times, if you have people talking about it on a social media app, well, that is where you can have a very successful launch right away. You can have a really successful business long term and upkeep the momentum. So what TikTok hot videos does is you can go in and say, yeah, I'm actually thinking about selling whatever the electric razor thing we were just looking at is, because it showed up in black box. Now I can go in and type in electric razor and, whatever category, check out the last 7 days, click apply, and then I can actually filter through which videos seem to be actually doing really, really well. Now, I am seeing that no items have been sold here, but these are things that people have purchased. So here you've got 301 sales. What that means is now I can take these videos that naturally are doing really, really well. They're moving product. And I can start doing this while I'm waiting for my inventory to get made and like shipped to my marketplace. So in the meantime, I'm building my brand presence using videos that are doing really well. They're generating sales. I can get people excited. I can get my name out there. So by the time that you're launching, you're actually launching very successfully. You've got people who are ready to buy. So I think this is a really relatively new thing, because the more time that passes on, you've got more and more influencers that they're becoming more vital to the business and how revenue is generated. So you've got that, and then of course you've got AI. We've got quite a bit of AI functionality inside of our tools, but again, I think that's a different topic for another video.
Okay. Yeah. We can have another topic then. After we improve the listings, we can have another video about AI. Yeah, because that's the second, for sure, the question we need to discuss with with our students.
Yeah.
It's really important. Thank you so much. I agree about social media. So it's like a must for everybody who want to start selling something on Amazon. I'm telling same thing every day to my students that we can't do only Amazon without social media. So and
what's really cool is actually, and I think right now, I was talking about things about how to launch new products, so I didn't want to get into it. But we do have a handful of tools for TikTok Shop outside of what I just showed you. And that helps you bulk convert your listings to TikTok Shop if you're profitable on that side too. Using the profitability calculator, you can guesstimate. That was something I covered earlier today. And what you can do is within minutes, you can bulk convert all of your listings from Amazon to TikTok Shop and then have it so it's automated. It pulls from your Amazon inventory. Meaning actually, when you find something for Amazon, you want to do all the natural validation. Maybe you also want to look for a hype factor. And when you find something that is really interesting or very interesting, like it invokes curiosity, then what you can do is you can also make sure that you're selling it on TikTok Shop with very little effort from your end, still pulling from your Amazon inventory. So again, conversation for another time, but hopefully you guys that are watching learned a lot, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Thanks.